do.
To discuss to consider the purchase of property for public purposes or the sale of property at a competitive bidding. If
Okay. Let's see, where's the best place to put it? Do you want to put it at the end? Because I know we've got a presentation and I don't want to have the educators waiting for us.
yeah, we already have one at the end.
So let's put it at the end and we will make that one item.
9.1.
It'll be 9.1. And it will move our executive session that was already on our agenda to item 9.2. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
So with that,
Go and come out and go back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. With that, if I may have a motion on the floor to approve the July 14th agenda with the addition of a second executive session becoming item 9.1.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept item 1.3, approval of the agenda, including the addition of 9.1 executive session.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Board, is there any further discussion?
None, Madam Chair.
Thank you. At this point, Dr. Rock, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. We're at the point on our agenda where we would invite the public to come down and speak. And we only have educators here tonight. So, Mr. Jolly Duke, did we get anything in our email box?
nothing in our email, no ma'am.
All right, well, I will take this moment to remind everybody who's watching us online, if you choose to join us in our meetings, we will still abide by our social distancing, but pursuant to recent House bills that were passed a couple of weeks ago, we will be back in person in our school board meetings, so we do look forward to you all joining us as you can. In the meantime, if you visit our website, there is a section under the board that specifically speaks to how you can send your information to us if you have a comment for public participation. We do look forward to hearing from you. The next item on our agenda is item 1.5. Mr. Jolly, I'll let you introduce this one.
Yes, this presentation is we underwent a STEAM analysis of the district. Ms. Ruth Ray is here. The presentation is done by the person who did, Mark Ciliano from Left Brain. So he'll be presenting here on the board, and Ms. Ray will be able to answer any questions. This is going to be unique.
Good evening, Mr. Jolly, members of the school board, and
Turn it up, John.
My name is Mark Siciliano. I'm the CEO of Left Bank Consulting, and it is an honor to support you in your STEAM and innovation journey in Warrensville Heights City School District. This evening, I'll share with you a presentation of findings of a gap analysis conducted in May and June. Following the basic principle that to know where you're headed, you must first know where you are, we worked with members of the community, representatives from the STEAM advisory team, and of course, directly with Ruth Ray, the secondary academic coordinator, to conduct an analysis and look at the current state of STEAM through programs, opportunities, and initiatives in the district. This presentation will walk you through that process. We'll provide some high-level findings as an overview of the gap analysis, and we'll also share some next steps in the journey so that you can fully realize STEAM and innovation for each and every scholar in Warrensville Heights. We started with the graduate profile. It anchors the vision for all scholars and is the basis for any initiative, including STEAM in the district. We looked closely at language representative of the attributes and competencies of a graduate that can be addressed through STEAM education, programming, and opportunities. These are represented in red here. And here are a few more examples represented in red of the STEAM attributes that we espouse in all scholars. We also looked at the Ohio Department of Education STEM plan and conducted a document review for all existing frameworks, courses, and programs in the district. It was critical to gather primary source evidence as well, and we facilitated a series of interviews with educators from the STEAM advisory team, district leaders, and community partners. Here's a perfect example of Donald Jolly's vision for STEAM across Warrensville Heights City School District. Absolute commitment, an uncompromising commitment with a clear vision for STEAM for each and every scholar with no excuses and no barriers. Ruth Ray confirms that vision and extends it by identifying that all of the pieces are in place, and it's a matter now of connecting dots in order to move forward with the STEAM plan, and one that measures impact because of maximizing opportunities. This is the STEAM graduate profile for each scholar, a framework that will be fully developed with benchmarks and indicators. It prompts the question, when scholars graduate, will they have the agency with confidence to act and pursue STEAM on their terms? Will they know their identity, their passions, and their interests in STEAM? Will they have the knowledge and skills to ensure that they are equipped to excel and compete with any peer across the globe? The development and sustainability of a district-wide STEAM plan is a journey. Starting with the North Star of a district-wide graduate profile and more specific STEAM graduate profile, we offer 4 phases to realize the vision of STEAM for each scholar. Start with a gap analysis to know where you are. Further design the STEAM vision and strategic plan to know where you're headed. Implement and measure all STEAM activity as you go. And finally, sustain the efforts through constant monitoring and iteration. Looking more closely at phase 1, the gap analysis. This is a STEAM dashboard designed specifically with Warrensville Heights City School District in mind. The STEAM dashboard is the snapshot of STEAM across the district. It is divided by core programming like math and science courses, elective options like engineering and computer science, integration of the arts and making, out-of-school learning clubs and activities, summer learning, and partnerships with the community and families. It goes from pre-K through 12 with grade bands for pre-K 5, 6, 8, and 9, 12. Further, these bands are color-coded to provide a snapshot of the state of STEAM today. Blue is nascent or under development, yellow shows progress, and green is realization. There are obvious strengths, which we'll explore in a moment, and clear opportunities to pursue that will create a completely green dashboard. STEAM for each scholar with no barriers or excuses within 3 years. Imagine that transformation. A few strengths that are worth noting here Leadership clearly is committed to STEAM quality and equity for all scholars. There's a belief that STEAM matters, that it's essential for post-secondary success, and that it is an absolute requisite for each and every scholar. The secondary academic coordinator is supported to lead STEM as a district-wide PK-12 initiative for each and every scholar. There's a STEAM advisory team in place, and that ensures representative educator voice across that PK-12 continuum. And in our interviews, we realized that teachers are supported to be innovative in their practices. They're trusted to make instructional decisions. They're actually expected to do so in order to advance STEAM. Making and a design culture are clearly established across the district, and especially in grades PK through 8 with milk carts. There are plans for innovation centers in all 3 campuses and a rollout in the elementary grades this fall. The STEAM Fair has widely been recognized as a community-wide event for all scholars. And emerging CTE career pathways provide a foundation for in-demand STEAM-related opportunities now. There's also strong evidence of community partnerships that exist to enhance STEAM opportunities, provide enrichment beyond the school day, and strengthen the core academic programming in place in the district. Again, using the STEAM dashboard as a guide, there are some opportunities, both near-term and long-term, to advance STEAM education opportunities in the district. Working from the existing STEAM vision and framework, further design one that is community-enabled with STEAM representation and voice from all stakeholders. This will undergird the Vision for STEAM strategic plan. Develop the specifics for the STEAM graduate profile with benchmarks and readiness across the various grade levels to ensure that students are on the right path for all STEAM opportunity. And use the dashboard to prioritize initiatives each year aligned to those benchmarks to make strategic decisions. The innovation centers are critical for helping each scholar understand themselves, their identity, and their passions, and leveraging those, especially the one for pre-K-5 in the new building, will be critical in this upcoming school year, then followed obviously by the middle grades and secondary years by 2023. As you look to advance STEAM, there's an opportunity to look younger and look at the PK-8 continuum, particularly grades 6 through 8 as foundational years for STEAM. And there's always an opportunity to expand STEAM beyond the normal school day in the out-of-school space with partners during the summer, especially to emphasize the importance of social emotional learning and skill development that often occurs in out-of-school learning. And with any initiative, particularly one this important for the career opportunities for all scholars, a coalition of community members will ensure that this is sustainable, that it's impactful, and that's an important aspect of the Warrensville Heights community. Emphasizing STEAM as a district-wide priority is essential for the 21st century. We encourage you to embrace the journey and celebrate success along the way. Warrensville Heights City School District is on pace to realize STEM for each scholar. That green dashboard, that sustainable model. And so imagine when we reach phase 4, there's STEAM sustainability, and it is embedded fully within the culture of the district. Thank you again for your time this evening. Thank you for the opportunity to support STEAM and innovation in Warrensville Heights City School District. We are really honored by the partnership and collaborative opportunities, and we look forward to working with you in phase 2 and beyond to help you fully realize all the STEAM potential in your scholars. Thank you.
Come on up, Ruth. So I appreciate Ruth and her work with STEAM. On tonight's agenda, she'll be moving. We're recommending that she becomes the STEAM coordinator for the district. The importance of this is because we have to make education relevant for our students. You know, just coming to school, learning, reading, and math and it's not connected to real life does not make it relevant. Our goal is to make education relevant so that students find whatever that gift is, whatever they like, and we engage them early. And then as they engaged early, they become more engaged in school, and then we can give them the education they need to go out here and be positive and productive citizens. This process really began when we got that $20,000 from Amazon, which we used to buy STEAM cards. We bought portable cards to move. Each school received one. And with that, we've been trying to and implementing STEAM education since. So all the arts programs, the care and move programs, and the math programs, the robotics, the engineering, all those things we've done, that's all been part of our STEAM strategy to make education relevant for our students so they can see the connections between understanding what math and why math is important, why reading is important, infusing the arts, all of these things put it together to make our education the most relevant and consistent for students who attend our district. So at this time, Ms. Ray is here to answer any question about next steps or any question about the presentation.
I actually have a question. This is a great program and it's exciting. That last bullet talking about how we make it sustainable, how are we going to do outreach in the community to bring in community members that have these backgrounds that can work with our scholars?
Thank you for that question. That's really a great question. Not only what we're doing work with, as we did the gap analysis, we're also working with a foundation called FAB Foundation. FAB Foundation is an organization that is a global organization with maker spaces across the world. So with that, the plan that we have with the FAB Foundation is when we open up our first makerspace, which will be 9/11, September the 11th, the makerspace will have its grand opening. The basis of that grand opening is a community installation project. So we are currently working with Cyan Pryor Jones and collecting information and organizations that will be a part of that. And that will be the start of us bringing our community inside of our buildings and really making it sustainable, and also helping our scholars understand the different work-based programs that is here in our community. And STEAM is just beyond making a project. That is really in the manufacturing engineer, which are our small communities. We have a frame making community that's right here in Warrensville City School District. So working with organizations such as that will actually move us into and engage our community in a different way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
I'm intrigued with the dashboard. How
Very
often
good.
will you guys be able to?
Mark is laughing right now if he's watching this, because that dashboard was he sent the dashboard. The dashboard will have updates semester as we first start, and then it'll
Okay.
go to a yearly update. So right now, as we work that and work the different components of the dashboard, so after by December we'll go do a update, see where we're progressing, how we're doing, and we'll do that for up until 2023, actually until our third makerspace is open. So now we'll be getting an opportunity to see where and how the different components of the dashboard is actually engaging and impacting us throughout the school. So it'll be frequently each semester, and then after that it'll be a yearly update and conversation with our district STEAM team. So our district STEAM team is comprised of 15 teachers currently, and we also have a very healthy STEAM advisory of community partners who also be a part of that conversation. Because, and I want to go back to the color, and Mark sent us the dashboard. It was red and white and blah, blah, blah. I said, it has to be blue and gold. So, and we spent a lot of time on talking about that coloring because we wanted to make sure that, no, that Tiger's Pride is everywhere we go, but really how to buy in from the community and our partners to understand and embrace this dashboard. And I mean, and it involves quite a bit of information. And I wanted to be clear, I know that we are not we're not a district of just STEAM, but this is a comprehensive approach to STEAM education. So those benchmark years was very important, that at the third grade, the fifth grade, the eighth grade, and the 10th grade level, that we make sure we're hitting those benchmarks, because now there's our math, there's our ELA, and especially, I'm sorry, but there's our science, because I am a science person first. So, but making sure that those benchmarks was a part of that dashboard is going to be really critical. And a comprehensive approach for everyone having a buy-in and understanding it's not just something else we're doing. This is what we do. So that I want to pay attention to that part too. You're welcome.
I got a question, Madam Chair. Ruth Ray, I just first want to thank you for working on the STEAM fair. I know all the board members look forward to it each year. You do a great job, and you open up the mind, the whole child, to let them do different projects. I think this would be set as a blueprint for Warrensville Heights City School District to give our scholars different pathways like Superintendent Jolly's been doing since he's been here. It allowed the parents to have measurements for their student and other options. I like how Mark did the identity centers, and with your team and a strong team, that child can come and figure out what they want to do in their pathway. But I'm very impressed with this program. I think we need it. It just gives our scholars other options that they can flow through the district. But I want to thank you.
I appreciate that. But we want to thank you also. Thank you for investing in such a project. We have designated 3 areas for Macon. Macon, as we know, is the maker space, is where scholars would do digital fabrication, where they will learn, have skills that will take them into the workforce and making them marketable, leaving high school. So thank you guys for that dedication, because without that, our vision would not be able to come alive. And then a team of teachers. We have a great team of teachers who are, who are willing to open their minds, in their scholars' minds, to get the work done. So thank you also, each one of you. Thank you. Any more questions? Ms. Moon?
Actually, mine is I think this is an excellent program. And I want to see the commitment from all of the staff, that in order for us to be successful, that we need total commitment from our teacher. So what I'm asking is there a training that the teachers can go to?
Great question, Ms. Moon.
So that they are prepared. I mean, I don't want an excuse to say, well, we wasn't prepared, there was no training offered. I want to know what's out there for the teachers to really benefit from.
Thank you for asking that question also. And guess what? Our teachers don't have to go get it. We'll be bringing it to them. We'll be working with the FAM Foundation starting in September. So actually, the last week of August, there'll be an intense boot camp that will happen for the training for the makerspace for our lab aid. And then from there, once a month until December, the FAB Foundation will PD our teachers during their planning period. Teachers, yes, it's going to happen. And then we have two-hour professional developments that will take place. So our goal is that the month from August up until September, that we're really giving the teachers what they need to support them in getting this done. So by the time January comes, you guys can come in and see what a true co-facilitated strategy looks like. So from August until December, that's our training time for our teachers, and really having them up soon. Like I say, they're coming into the school, they're doing it during their planning period, so it's no excuses, but not making another barrier for the teachers, helping them, be able to integrate this in what they do. So that's when it will happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're saying FAB.
FAB Foundation. The FAB Foundation, after, if you guys a couple of months back, they've been working with us on the design and training the teachers for our actual maker space, the innovation centers. So they'll be doing the work, and they're part of a large organization called Scopes. And Scopes is where all of their curriculum and the different activities that they do around making happens. And it's a free website you can go and check out. Scopes.
So also, Ruth talked about us committing a staff member to the room. So we reallocated a paraprofessional to staff the STEAM room. So we put a paraprofessional there. He'll be going through all the training with Ruth. And then when teachers bring students to the STEAM room at the elementary school, he'll be there facilitating with the teacher. So he's getting trained right now. Mr. Richardson is being trained.
His training already started this summer. He's been committed.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So he's already started training.
So, thank you, Ruth. Any other questions?
Welcome.
All right.
Thank you. I thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we move to the superintendent report, I just want to say 3 words, and I think this is important for our district. One of the key things to helping our students be successful is that they have to be exposed to information, have to be exposed to knowledge, they have to be exposed to experiences. One of the biggest barriers that our children face is that they haven't been exposed to things. They haven't seen it, they haven't experienced it, they haven't had the opportunity to touch it. That's one of our goals, is to make sure that we expose our students to everything. The next thing is access. They have to have access to the program. They have to have access to a makerspace. They have to have access to the community partners. They have to have access. We are all these big businesses in this community, and our kids don't have access. So that's what we're working on, getting them access. And then once they get access, they have to be prepared for the opportunity. So once we get them the opportunity, once they get through the door, they got to finish. They got to do a great job. So I think for this year, my motto is exposure, access, and opportunity. We got to expose our kids. One of the biggest things, if you talk to people who traveled the world, they don't get confined to little things because they've seen more. They've been experienced more. They know that this is not the only way. Some of our children don't get to experience more than what we see here. So that's why we send them on trips and send them all over the country, because and our kids are going to Kentucky State, they're going to Tennessee State, because they went there in high school. It became a reality. They figured out a way to get there. And then because of the trips that this board has, supported over the years. And I just think that that's what we have to continue to do, is continue to expose our students to everything the world offers. And then we got to get them access to it. And that's where the partnership, some of the positions that we're, later on job description that we tweaked a little bit, so that we can start getting our kids access to the world, to the people who can get them there. And then once we get them there, the STEAM education, our focus on literacy, our Operation Catch Up, to make sure our kids are learning, and that we're catching up this learning gap due to COVID, because we've been talking about this in nausea about what we see coming back. We have one of our new teachers here that will be voted on. Ms. Pendleton is here today. One of our people that's part of our Operation Catch Up team, to make sure that we get our kids what they need by the end of next year, that we're caught up, so that the exposure to access and opportunity is there for all. So we're going to the Superintendent Report. I got a couple of things to report this morning, just about facilities and other things. As you can see, I put up on the sign our new John Dewey sign. That is the sign in front of John Dewey, which is the temporary home of Warrensville Heights Middle School. So the conversion has already occurred. I do want to say, the quote on there says, "Only he who can see the invisible can do the impossible." Just looking at where we are today, 6 years ago, no one would ever dream that we would be sitting here today with our middle school at John Dewey, a new elementary school. No one would ever dream that. I wouldn't even could conceive that when I came in this door. So I think that the vision of this board and the vision of key people in this community allowed this to happen. And I wanted to just share that as we have lived the model of one team, one vision, one goal for the last 6 years to get to where we are today, building a new middle school and high school, new elementary school, converting things, trying to get bus garages and all these things. These are things that without the vision, it wouldn't have happened. I'll go. Okay, so facilities, just want to run through the auction. So the auction was at Eastwood this past, it was started on the 1st of July. The preliminary reports is that we have made a profit of $50,000 on the stuff at the schools. All the remaining items will be on sale with the auction. So Jonathan was over there with them today. So they're gonna auction off the remaining things, with it ending on the 28th with pickup on the 30th. So we'll have another sale. I mean, it was community people buying stuff too. I was over there yesterday. They have bought, people, all kind of people is in there buying things. So we did get it to the community. So our community were buying some of the things. The next thing is the middle school and the bus garage. So that date has been pushed back. We originally thought we had to be out the middle school by August 1st. But what happened was when they bidded the abatement for the middle school, it was so high they want to come back and rebid it. The reason why it was so high is that they said they couldn't find enough workers. The companies couldn't find workers to work. So they believe with some of the things going on in the world now, with the unemployment benefits being cut and so forth, that they'll get a lower price. So that they pushed it back to 9/1, which gives us more time to get out of there. The last day that we can use the gas tanks there is September 10th. So we have to come up with some gas tanks relatively quick. So today we received a bid to put 2 gas tanks, and these gas tanks will be transferable. So we put them at the elementary school. We'll be able to move them if we make some other decisions. At $72K. It was too late for me to bring it today because we just got it this afternoon. But I am going to request a special meeting soon because we do have some personnel things too that we need to for the board to consider. So for those that don't know, the Board of Education is the new Operations and Transportation Center temporarily until we can make some more decisions. We have already put a fence around it. We've put some gravel. We are waiting. I think I got that on here. So yeah, so final preparations are on the way. We've added some gravel, but we are awaiting. We need a little more gravel because there's not enough space for the cars and the buses. So we got to add a little bit of gravel to the back. We will have everybody moved there by 8/31. So by the end of August, we have some people moved earlier than that, but our target date was really August 1st, but we got a little more time. So we're going to try to get everybody in there. So who would be over there? Under Director of Operations and his Executive Assistant, Transportation Supervisor and Dispatcher, Food Service Supervisor and Facility Supervisor, the all bus drivers, buildings and grounds. Now the mechanic would be located at the City Service Garage pending board approval. So on today's agenda, the city has loaned us opportunity to use 3 bays for free for 9 months. So at no charge, they're allowing us to use the bays because we don't have anywhere for our mechanic to work on the buses. So the city is going to allow us to use 3 bays for free, no charge at all. So Human Resources, just want to give an update because this year has been a little different than other years. Due to the ESSER money, every district is hiring a lot of people. They're just hiring. So we received some late resignations this year. So with those late resignations, our principals are actively interviewing. So these are the positions we currently need. We need a PE teacher in high school, our high school teacher, gym teacher. He played football at Akron, and anybody heard of Massillon, Washington, the big high school in Massillon? They got a Browns facility. So he's going there to be a gym teacher and football coach at Massillon. I saw him today. He was one of my former students. So I congratulated him because that is like, if you want to be a high school football coach to go to Massillon, it's huge. We need a secretary for the elementary school. That's due to last year we did not replace a person who retired. We just moved some people around. So we need an English teacher for high school. That teacher was blessed to go to Beechwood to be a assistant principal. So she was promoted and went as assistant principal. The math teacher is moving to become our math. She's becoming our math coach district-wide. And then we need a replacement for Ms. Stitt at the high school for assistant principal. And then our parent involvement specialist at the elementary school left too late. So we are hiring another parent involvement specialist. So they're starting interviews for that. So the special meeting is to try to get these people hired before school start, before our regular meeting in August. Then important information, I just wanted to share this. So we have our online signups for parents who want to do online learning. Of course, we're going to extend it, but the date is the 31st of this month. So far, we only have 5 people sign up for online. As of today, Ms. Rudolph handles that, but it's only 5 yesterday. We will extend it. Administrators return to work, those who are not on 260 contracts, return to work on the 2nd. The return to school drive-through is on the 7th of Saturday from 11 to 2. New teacher orientation is the 11th and 12th. The convocation, which we would love the board to attend, is Friday, August 13th. Starts at 8 a.m. The first day of school, I put the wrong date. It should be 8/18, not 8. Yeah, it should be the 20th. Yeah, and Ms. Rudolph was discussing possibly trying to do maybe a return to school barbecue. Just have the administrators, the board, and just have hot dogs and new teachers, whoever want to come. Hopefully we'll have a band at that time to play and just have some music and just have everybody meet each other, just do a little community event. So we're going to talk about it tomorrow, and I probably should be able to get the board something tomorrow about doing that. And that'll probably be the week before school start in the evening, but we'll put something together soon. I'm trying to think any other announcements that I missed, but I think I got them all. All right, any questions this time? I just think the board's a lot of moving pieces right now. We moving, people moving from the board, they moving to the new board. We getting John Dewey ready. John Dewey's almost already in the inside. They're doing it. The consultants did a good job. And then we got to go clean out the middle school. All the old plaques and things are still there. So we got to get all those things out of there as soon as possible. The construction, so the Eastwood in the middle school should be putting fences around the middle school in the middle of August. In the Eastwood, hopefully, I think it's September. One of the reasons we want to get the fences up is because people have been doing bad things behind the school. Like, we get calls from the council person and so forth. So we want to get the fences up. Then at the middle school, we have people trying to take air conditioners off the back. It used to be a lot of action back there when the baseball fields and stuff. So now, since it's people there during the day, but after hours, there's nobody there. So now you got people trying to cut air conditioners out, things like that. So, it's a deserted place. The police department not back there anymore. So we need to get the fences up as soon as possible. And then if you look, the construction of the high school is in full go. So you see now they're putting footers down and so forth. So at this time, I think that concludes my report. And any questions at this time?
Are there any questions, board?
None for me, Superintendent.
Thank you. That was a great update. Lots of things going on.
Right.
I have a question. Is there any way to turn this AC? It's freezing in here. Thank you. We're going to go to item 1.7, Dr. Rock, Treasurer's Report. Thanks, Jonathan.
There's no report tonight from the treasurer. Hard at work doing the close. We're all on schedule from all our hard work that we did in June. Now that gets everything in motion for me to do a lot of work. So everything's moving smoothly. Although we did have some hiccups because of the new computer system on the year-end close, that's been handled now, and they're still developing like a patch repair or something in the background. We're in the new year, things are moving, but this is the real busy time of the year for me because it's closing out the prior year numbers, but now building the budget for the new.
Thank you, Dr. Rock.
I do have a question, Madam Chair. Dr. Rock, just on the investments, the 3 accounts, the STAR, the Fifth Third, and UBS, you haven't moved any of those accounts, have you? They're still with those?
Oh yeah, we're still with all 3 of those. We use all 3.
Okay. Yeah.
And you'll be getting an update on, I'm starting to prepare now because we've had a little bit of a lull in our construction funds because we didn't have any construction going on. It's starting up now, and I see the next drawdown that they're asking for to back up to 6 figures, which it should be because now we're in full steam. Things are moving now. So you'll see some things moving around. out of STAR into our general account so we can make those payments. So you'll see that, but we still use all three of those we use: Fifth Third, UBS, Star Ohio, Dollar Bank, and we still have some PNC.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dr. Rock.
I have one additional announcement. We will have a band meeting next Thursday at 6 o'clock in the auditorium. We will provide some updates on the band. We had to postpone band camp, which was supposed to start on Monday. So we hope to have we will have some developments one way or another on Thursday to tell the parents what direction the band will be going starting next Thursday.
At 6 p.m. Sir?
6 p.m.
High school.
It'll be here at the high school. We encourage all alumni and parents to come to the to hear what the direction the band would be moving forward.
Exciting things for Warrensville Heights. Right. We need a motion on the floor, please, to approve by consent agenda. Treasurer's report, financial recommendations. That's going to be item 2.1, cash reconciliation.
Madam Chair, I move item number 2 on tonight's agenda. The Treasurer's Report and Financial Recommendations, 2.1 cash rec.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded. Board, are there any additional questions or conversation for Dr. Rock at this time? All right, hearing none. Dr. Rock, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator, Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Next on our agenda is item 3. Oh, thank you. We need a motion on the floor to approve by consent agenda superintendent's recommendations and presentations for board action administrative staff, and it's 2 items, 3.1 and 3.2.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move item number 3, the consent superintendent's recommendation and presentation for board action administrative staff. Looking for approval for items 3.1 and 3.2.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Board, are there any questions or comments on this section? Mr. Jolly, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say this is just a realignment of our staff to put people in the most effective positions. Ms. Ray moving from secondary coordinator to STEAM integration specialist. We'll have her focusing on STEAM education and science. And then Dr. Reynolds moving from the director of student wellness and innovation to director of operations, which will have him focus strictly on the operations of the district, which will relieve me of that duty also. So he will be taking over that. So I will still be very intertwined in it, especially with the buildings of the new schools and the big expenses that come with maintaining the other schools. But the day-to-day, just, the buses, transportation things, he'll be taking that over.
That is exciting to hear because we know you have been a man of multiple hats for a lot of years.
Me too.
Yeah. So if there's no other conversation, Dr. Rock, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Next on our agenda is item 4, and we need a motion on the floor to approve by consent agenda superintendent's recommendations and presentations for board action certificated staff. That's going to be items 4.1 through 4.6.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for item number 4, the consent superintendent recommendations and presentation for board action certificated staff. Looking for items 4.1 through 4.6.
May I have a second?
I second.
It has been moved and properly seconded. Board, is there any discussion on this section? And if nothing from the board, Mr. Jolly, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, these are just pretty much replacements for, we have our resignations, which you shared. The teachers, we do have one of our teachers here, Miss Kathy Pimpleton, who will be approved, going to Warrensville Heights Elementary School. Our coaching supplements, our director of scholar intervention and data, and then our student and families resource specialists, which serve the role as social workers in the district, and then our high school assistant principal, who is replacing Miss Sorrells, who went to the reading intervention position.
Who do we have here?
Yeah, we do.
She stand, please.
Come on down.
Welcome to the district.
Welcome.
Okay. All right, is there any other conversation? Okay. Dr. Rock, can you please?
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Next on our agenda, we need a motion on the floor to approve by consent agenda superintendent's recommendations and presentations for board action classified staff, and that will be items 5.1 through 5.3.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move item number 5, the consent superintendent recommendations and presentation for board action classified staff, looking at items 5.1 through 5.3.
Thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Board, is there any discussion in this section?
For the lifeguard,
Mhm.
is that all day or is it class?
No, it's just when the pool was open. You know, the pool, I think when it opened, it didn't open till, like 3 weeks ago, it wasn't open. So it just opened recently. It's not all day. It's certain periods of time of the day. I didn't get the exact hours it's open, but it's not open all day.
So I have a question. With us having a lifeguard, will this give us an opportunity to bring swimming back to Warrensville as part of the curriculum?
So I know this lifeguard is going to college in about
Oh,
2 weeks. So we gotta find another lifeguard. He's on his way to Xavier University
awesome.
in New Orleans. So
Okay.
we gotta find another lifeguard. But yeah, we want to offer swimming as part of our curriculum. So if we find a lifeguard, we'll offer swimming. We've been trying to work with the YMCA, but the YMCA been short too on lifeguards too. So we need lifeguards.
It would be great if we was looking to add swimming to our sports repertoire.
Yep.
It's time to see more of us, even more of us, at those Olympic trials. I'm just saying.
Also, Madam Chair, I'd just like to state that the community is glad that the district has opened up that pool. I know we had inquiries about using it, and some of our senior citizens are loving it, Mr. Jolly. So I just want to express that they're happy that that pool is open and they're using it more and more regular. So
Thank you, sir.
you're welcome.
If there's nothing else, Dr. Rock, can you please call the roll?
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, this motion passes 5-0. Next on our agenda, we need a motion on the floor to approve by consent superintendent's recommendations and presentations for personnel and programs. And this will cover items 6.1 through 6.18. This is the bulk of our agenda tonight.
Madam Chair, I move item number 6 on tonight's board agenda, the superintendent's recommendation and presentation for personnel and programs. We're looking for items 6.1 through 6.18.
Thank you. May I have a second? It has been moved and properly seconded. As I said, this is a pretty big section for tonight, so I'm sorry. Did I miss one? Is it 6.8 or 6.9?
I think it changed to 6.18. It was 6.18.
Yeah, it was 6.8. One was a duplicate.
That's okay. That's fine. All right, so this is a pretty big section. Mr. Job, I don't know if there's anything that you want to share.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight a few. I wanted to highlight 6.2, the modification of the Director of Wellness and Innovation. We transformed it to the Director of Student Wellness and Parent Engagement. One of the biggest barriers that we've seen or anticipate is improving parent engagement. So with this position, which is paid out our wellness funds, we shifted the position instead of being innovation to parent engagement. So this person will be responsible. They'll have benchmarks of improving the PTO, ensuring that we have multiple district-wide parent engagement events at district-wide school events. We'll have definitely benchmarks for this individual, whoever receives this position. Also wanted to highlight 6.4, the student code of conduct. Ms. Rudolph this year made sure that the student code of conduct aligned directly with school policy. So whatever policy, and before it was kind of like we'd take bits and pieces of the policy, but now it's a direct reflection of policy. So there's no confusion, because sometimes she was having hearings last year if it wasn't totally it was in the policy, but it wasn't totally in the handbook. So now there's no confusion. So the handbook a little longer, but it's for the best because everything is explained by policy in the handbook. 6.5, this is our online learning. So this is our agreement with the ESC to provide online learning. It adds up to about $2,500 a kid a year. That's what it adds up to about. So this is the online learning. We've already had this online learning already. We've used that when we were trying to bring kids back from K-12. We implemented this and we did return kids to the district using this. So this is basically when they leave us and go to online learning, it's the same thing. So, and we've used this in the past. And the last one I want to highlight is the rest of them are pretty much perceived ones that we normally do. It's 6.13, which is the agreement with the city for us to use those 3 bays for free.
6.7, John.
6.7. Yeah, so this is when kids are incarcerated. Cleveland educates them, so then we have to pay the cost. So they bill us. And most of these are the standard ones in which we have to pay outside people. We didn't send them there. They come or through the court system, end up in those areas.
Joy, 6.8.
But they reside here in Oak.
They live in Warrensville.
Address.
Yes, ma'am. 6.8, yes, sir.
The alternative, brief explanation, brief synopsis of that program?
So that's a program, again, those are kids get placed there. Those are kids who have some type of behavior problem that is beyond what the scope of the school can handle. So sometimes we very seldom send kids there, but a lot of times when kids transfer or move into the district, they already there. So if they're already there, then we have to pay the cost. So it's an alternative for students who exhibit behaviors that our teachers can't manage at that time.
Understood.
Isn't handle with peer new? That's item 6.11.
6.11. No, not 6.
No, 6.10, I think.
6.10.
CT3.
Let me see, because I'm working off that. No. That is 6.9.
It's so handle with care. That's professional development to help our staff deal with and de-escalate students and deal with nonverbal students and things like that. So it is new, but it's paying our idea. So it's just to give our teachers more tools to be successful.
And Mr. Charr, to double back on 6.13, the agreement with the city regarding the bus repair. How many of our personnel will be at the facility as well?
So a primary person will be our mechanic, Kurt. Our buildings and grounds will have a bay to store some of the things they can't put at the board. So we cleared out the board garages, but it's still not big enough for everything. So they got a bay over there that they can put the big stuff in. I think the solution to that is to get a trailer. You see no big trailers that we can store the stuff in, but we don't have one yet. So we have to use that bay until then. But that's the ultimate solution, is to get a trailer. Then we wouldn't have to go up there. But until then, we have to go up there and store. So it'd be like one person there every day, which would be our mechanic, and then our buildings and grounds would be in and out based upon what they need.
Okay, are there any more questions on Section 6, board members?
None for me, Madam Chair.
No, ma'am.
Hearing none, Dr. Rock, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gator,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mr. Roberts,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell.
Yes, the motion passes 5-0. At this time, we are going to need a motion on the floor to move into executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purposes or for the sale of property at competitive bidding. If premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the public interest. So I know it's a handful, but this is also, it's in our folder. So, go ahead.
Madam Chair, I move to accept item 9.1 to enter into executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purposes or for the sale of property at competitive bidding if premature disclosure of information would give an unfair competitive or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal private interest is adverse to the public interest.
Thank you, ma'am. May I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, ma'am. So we are going to go into executive session at this time. And because we have 2 executive sessions, we're gonna go in, come back out, and then we'll come back out again. So I'm assuming you guys aren't gonna stay. So I just wanna say thank you for coming. It has been so nice to see people in front. I will get this back to you, Ms. Ray. Thank you.